U.S. President Donald Trump canceled all trade talks with Canada on Thursday. He cited the Ontario advertisement against his signature tariffs plan, featuring the voice of former U.S. President Ronald Reagan. In a social media post, Trump said tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the United States. Trump added, based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, while in Israel, also publicly addressed the situation, reiterating that Trump has suspended trade talks with Canada. Take a listen.
Well, I think what happened is one of the leaders in Canada was running ads in the United States on tariffs that took President Reagan's words out of context. Even the Reagan Foundation criticized them for it. But I have not spoken. I've been traveling since yesterday. I have not spoken to the foreign minister since then. But I mean, the president made his announcement that he's suspended any trade talks with Canada for now.
U.S. President Donald Trump has also questioned the timing of the ad. He said the move appears timed to interfere with a looming Supreme Court case challenging the legality of his signature tariff policy. The president warned of disaster if the top court overturns his country-based tariffs. That includes forcing the government to refund companies billions of dollars it already paid duties to. The court is scheduled to hear oral arguments in the case on November 5th. The televised ad funded by the Ontario government had aimed to sow doubt among Republican voters using one of the party's most iconic voices. The ad was set to run until the end of January and cost about 75 million Canadian dollars. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, teasing the new ad campaign at a Toronto business meeting last week, said, "We're going to repeat that message to every Republican district there is right across the entire country." While Trump hit out at Canada, there was no clarity on whether the ads would continue to run here in the United States. Trump also mentioned the ads were worth $75,000, while Ontario had reported that the campaign would cost them 75 million Canadian dollars. The campaign was set to run until the end of January. Ford has said the ad would air on Newsmax and Bloomberg from October 17th and on other major networks including Fox, NBC, Comcast, Spectrum, Sinclair Group, CBS, CNBC, and ESPN over the last and this week. The premier had also noted that CNN was unlikely to air the ad, explaining they're a little nervous. The campaign in question includes an address by former U.S. President Ronald Reagan, which he gave back in 1987. Reagan had also explained that tariffs should be used to solve a specific problem, not start a trade war. Ontario's ad features some parts of the former president's speech. Reagan had said, over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. He had added high tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and triggering a fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs. Separately, the Chinese embassy in Washington had also used the Reagan clip in a social media post on October 17th to tout Trump's tariffs as tensions rose between China and the United States over trade. The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute had criticized Ontario for running the ad. They had said Ontario did not seek permission to use the remarks and that selective audio and video in the ad misrepresents Reagan's full address. But the foundation or Trump have not addressed the social media post by the Chinese embassy in Washington.